nice. You never know if it could change your life. Take a chance, you need a wrong or right. You never know.
Hey Rob, I know we're both exhausted after our long flight back from Indianapolis, Indiana, Gen Con.
That's right. We were there. We're hanging out in the great state of Indiana, and
the warehouse, the back rooms, and we've got some good news for everyone, which is Dungeon Master of None has come into a lot of money, rather unexpectedly. I mean, Rob and I are no masters of planning or of foresight or really, but things really fell together for us. Let's just say our hands are stacked. We're holding aces, if you get what I mean. Wink, wink.
Really pulled off the perfect scheme, I would say. Really like a foolproof plan. And we can't give you the details, but
You checked for the security cameras, right, though, before we left?
Obviously.
Yeah, okay,
and
cool.
If I hadn't, it would have been pretty dumb for us to be wearing Dungeon Master of None t-shirts. Yeah. But that's how confident...
we got to promote the brand,
Yeah,
Rob.
That's how confident I am in our scheme that I felt that it was fine for us to wear our merch. No one was there to recognize us.
Well, listen, just if you've been on our side before, Patreon listeners, expect a little thank you from our recent windfall. So, it's crazy how small things can be worth so much money. Anyway, hey Rob, there's been like a lot of news, not just Gen Con.
A lot of news. There's been a lot of news. A lot of things have happened in the past.
Things
3 weeks. Yeah.
Fuck you, Francis Fukuyama. Tabletop history has not ended.
Has not ended.
We're still going.
As one great conservative thinker might have said, it's just one damn thing after another. And boy, it really has been. Where do we want to start, Matt? Also, this is Dungeon Master of None. Hello, everyone. I'm Dungeon Master Rob.
Hello, and I'm Matt, and I don't know. Let's start small. So we have both loved Pathfinder 2nd Edition, Rob, from the get-go. I've come around to it. I'm thinking about putting together a Pathfinder game. Starfinder 2E. So Rob and I is coming. It's
happening.
News. That's
it's
the
happening.
One. Yeah, we were there at Gen Con, as we said, and saw that it is coming, announced at Gen Con. Now, Rob, I am kind of excited about this because, when we talked about Starfinder, you can tell it is the worst parts of Pathfinder 1E. It's just like, ooh, man, there are too many subsystems going on here.
Yeah.
You're getting into Shadowrun territory of complexity.
Keen-eared listeners will remember that I ran a one-shot earlier this summer of the Great Grav Train Robbery, which is a really awesome one-shot, Starfinder one-shot, a Western, space Western by friend of the pod, Andrew White. And it was a ton of fun. My players had a great time. They were all pretty experienced, though, and even though they were experienced players and were familiar with both Pathfinder and 5th Edition and a little bit with Pathfinder 2E and Starfinder, it was unwieldy, let's say. There's a lot of
too much holdover. This edition Starfinder 1E goes back to 2000, right? And D&D 3.E. And there's too much luggage.
It's got a bunch of legacy systems from 3.5, which were only there because Pathfinder had legacy systems for 3.5, and it is very, very good that we have finally managed to shed all of that. So this is welcome news, because Starfinder is a really cool setting with a lot of really cool writing and a lot of really cool adventures and ideas, and it was absolutely being held back by its attachment to 3.5. So I cannot wait for the 2E release. I may run more games or more one-shots, especially if this looks a little bit closer to Pathfinder 2E. So very excited.
I mean, this also makes financial sense for Paizo, given the shenanigans with the OGL. If you remember, Pathfinder 2E is still an OGL system. It's published under the Open Game license, But with the remaster project that is going on right now, I think they're sweeping away anything that could, be considered part of the OGL, any of those use things to make it, complete, to make Pathfinder 2e without really changing the edition that much. Its own thing that can be published under their own license so that, they don't have to be worried about like this shit happening to them again. And I mean, they got to do the same for Starfinder. They got to cover their bases. Because even if Wizards is like the OGL, it's a Creative Commons, we're never going to touch it, we promise. I mean, what happens if things change, right?
Yeah, we browbeat Wizards into concessions, but I as I said months ago when it was happening, even though we got everything we technically asked for, all it made me certain of is that the second that Wizards thinks they can get away with, throwing up the walled garden, they will. And so everything that Paizo and every other publisher can do to either bring their licensing in-house or make it open source, like legitimately open source, they should do. So this is, like Matt said, a very wise decision, both in terms of intellectual property and finances. So I'm very excited. I can't wait to review Starfinder 2e.
Yeah. Get out of the OGL while you can. It's not a good place to be, even with all the changes, especially if your entire business model depends on it. Good thinking, Paizo. Speaking of walled gardens, Rob, I think this will come up on several things. So the Dungeon Masters Guild, where you and I have published things and where you can buy all kinds of 5e supplements. It's part of Drive-Thru RPG, where you can buy just regular role-playing game supplements, has updated its policy on AI shit. Have you noticed this, Rob? I have. I'm on the DMs Guild and Drive-Thru all the time. There's just like tons of supplements and art, just clearly people churning them out using AI stuff as fast as they can. Yeah, it's really everywhere. And once you start to know how to look for it, you can't unsee it. The issue with AI art, well, aside from all of the obvious issues, is that standalone, if it were kind of a novelty, if there were like a little bit out there, you might be like, oh, this is neat. But once it's everywhere, you begin to realize that it is incredibly formulaic and recognizably, it all kind of looks the same. It all has the same weird errors. It all has the same limitations, and just everything kind of looks like slop. And there's a bunch of slop on the DMs Guild. There's just a heaping serving of AI drawn pablum. It's gross. Right. Because one of the things you can do on Drive-Thru RPG is like search for stock art, and several artists, many artists, make either a part-time or full-time living. We've used a bunch. There's a lot of really good stock art that we've used in either home games and in some of our published published modules, which we paid for. It's absolutely practical to afford it, right? It means it's usually things that like, oh, this is stock art, other people can use it, but there's some really great stuff on there at great prices, and you're paying the artist, you're also paying, of course, one bookshelf and a cut, but it's not so bad. So what this policy change means is that AI generated art as a standalone like thing is not allowed. I think it seems like they're taking a wait and see approach. Like right now, if you want to have AI generated art in a product, like let's say you have a little zine or a supplement or an adventure or a rule book, you can absolutely sell that with AI generated art. But you can't just sell AI generated art by itself, because it was clearly flooding the market. Which makes sense, because I don't know how they would police, like, do you have AI art in your module? But they probably can police, is this just a package of AI-generated art? And the reason why I think you have to tag it if it's in anything, which, that's a plus, I guess. The reason why this is happening is because, again, longtime listeners will know how mad I am about this particular thing. But one of the main innovations of AI generated art and in ChatGPT has been people trying to sell
the sort of blueprint for making money on your AI art. There's tons, like if you go on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, you will find an ad that's like, make money from your AI art. And it'll, walk you through how to produce a bunch of crap and then put it on.
It's like drop shipping supplements to your friends.
Exactly.
That's something.
The exact same reason why Clark's World and Asimov's and fantasy and science fiction were suddenly overwhelmed by AI-written short stories, because people are like, you can make passive income by just having an AI wrote a story or an article for you and getting paid. Anyway, so a bunch of idiots put their AI art on DM's Guild, and it's all bad, and DM's Guild, I assume, was like, this is overwhelming our servers. I do not think that this is I do not believe that DM's Guild is a particularly scrupulous company, so it must have been extremely bad for them to take this stance.
Right, and to be clear, they have still not banned AI. Like, if you have a partially AI written book, that is okay if it's tagged.
That's fine. They
or
don't care.
Art in another supplement, that's fine with them. It's certainly not fine with me. But yeah.
They don't care. So that tells me that this must have been real bad. It must have been truly egregious amounts of bad stock AI art.
On the other side of the AI disc horse is Hasbro, who seems to be, and we're going to get to at least two big things, embracing AI, either on purpose or accidentally. So, the Hasbro, was it gaming vice president said that in some ways they're going to explore powerful AI-driven game mechanics. So, whether this is related to Wizards of the Coast or Dungeons & Dragons or some online Dungeons & Dragons thing or board games, interactive, whatever, we don't really know, but they're obviously convinced that they can cut out labor for some of their games by, I don't know, having AI write their game mechanics or create a interactive online dungeon master or something. Who knows?
What do I want to say about this?
It's going to be a digital board game that an AI runs for you. Who knows?
Yeah, so there's this company, Xplored, Xplored, which has a digital board game platform called Taburu. And I spent some time trying to figure out what the hell this is. And
they're Genoese. They're Ligurians.
Oh God, I see. They're mountain Italians.
What's the problem with Genoa?
The north of Italy always have the money and the power. They punish the south since hundreds of years. Even today, they put up their nose at us like we're peasants.
So they've got. Sorry, we need to talk about this, but makes me so upset, makes my head hurt so bad. They've got smart figurines with magnets and RFID tags in them. I don't know why. They also have smart dice with a chip inside them. Again, I don't know why. I'm becoming agitated and upset trying to understand what the point of any of this is.
I'm guessing it's something like you play Monopoly, but everyone has to download a fucking app, and then you find out that your cousin can't because he doesn't have the right kind of phone or the iOS is not updated. But when you roll a die, it tells you what space to move forward, and it updates your bank account on the app or something. It sounds like a way to make board games have planned obsolescence.
All right,
in them.
Here, listen to this, everybody. Hear this pitch. It's a multi-patented tech innovation based on a board with embedded.
Oh, do you have a patent? Do you have a patent? This is what the Dragon's Den people always say. Do you have the patent?
Multi-patented, Matt? Not just one. Multi-patented.
Oh, I'm impressed. I'm in.
With embedded electronic sensors that know where figures are placed, track their position, and react in real time. Game boards and
it's
tiles.
Like a smart chessboard?
Game boards and tiles can easily be placed on top of this base to create the gaming surface. Just play, and the game senses your every move.
Okay, like I understand like why this exists for like teaching people
this is an
chess,
investor pitch.
but
This is all that this is. There's no way anybody would look at this who wants to play a game and be like, yeah, because I'm not seeing anything here that explains like how you would use this to play games. What I am seeing is like a bunch of stuff to make a investor salivate. Oh God, World of Darkness also partnered with these guys. God, everyone has brainworms. I'm so mad.
People want, or I guess investors want this. The frustrating thing is like I imagine people like you and me just want a good board game, right?
I'm not opposed to like what am I thinking of? Oh, like Imperial Assault has an app that comes with it, right? They have an iPad app that you can use. That's actually cool and fun. You still have a board and you still like move your pieces around, but like the app does a bunch of the work for you. That's a to me, I enjoy that sort of digital integration. I think it works really well. And I guess I could see how if you had like if you wanted to like use the same modular board to play different types of games, you downloaded like software or a framework, and then you would then use the dice and the figurines, and it would like sort of adjudicate the rules for you. That would be cool. But I'm reading this, and all I'm seeing is this is just a way to make a bunch of stuff proprietary and charge people extra money. I don't see any way to make this do anything fun in terms of games. It just looks like more extractive horseshit. Yeah.
It seems too complicated to me. Like, why not put like board games are getting to the point they're already like at the margin of like too expensive for people to buy unless they're bespoke board games. If you add all this other, like, where are you going to make the money for all of these smart die components, right? Like, I can't imagine it's cheap to have a die that knows what you roll in your board game, right? What people will pay for an expensive board game as long as it's awesome, right? They'll pay for Gloomhaven.
Yes. They will pay a lot of money.
If the mechanics and the story and the art is amazing,
like
it's like
$200.
Yeah, it's very expensive, but like people
are
more than happy to pay for it. Yeah. I don't know.
According to this article,
I haven't seen anything that can't be done with like envelopes and cards. Yeah. Like it's just fun to do. Like if you've ever played Seafall or The King's Dilemma, like the tactile nature of board games is why people play them. Right? They like putting a sticker on things. They like opening an envelope. They like moving little things around. I don't think they like apps and AI generated text about it, right? The thing, like you were saying, everyone can still tell if something is AI generated. So, I don't know.
Two of my favorite games, Root and Wingspan, both have apps, and I have no interest in playing either of those apps because part of what I love about those games is they're beautifully designed and manufactured, and a lot of the joy comes from looking at the art and touching the nice little tokens and eggs in Wingspan. It's just a I mean, not that the game wouldn't be fun on an app, but a lot of the appeal comes from the physical and tactile experience of it. According to this article, Hasbro says that Explored is only working on board games. But again, like I mentioned, on their website, it says that they're working with World of Darkness to do Vampire the Masquerade stuff. So I don't trust Hasbro that it's going to stay in the board game realm. It may very well be involved in Dungeons and Dragons in the future. I don't know. This just bleh.
I mean,
that's all I'm gonna say. Bleh.
I think Hasbro knows that the big barrier for entry, why they can't squeeze another $500 million out of D&D, is because they can't get enough people to be dungeon masters.
Yeah.
So instead of writing a better dungeon master's guide and like hiring 10 more people to work on that, They're going to see if we can just come up with some way that you have an AI assistant as Dungeon Master, which, I don't know. That sucks. I don't like it. Nothing AI has been able to accomplish gets anywhere near what I would call art. And if tabletop role-playing games are some sort of collaborative storytelling or art, then this AI stuff is not going to help. Speaking of the absolute bottom of the AI barrel, this, Rob, made the AP, the Advanced Placement News wire headline, Rob. Dungeons & Dragons tells illustrators to stop using AI to generate artwork for fantasy franchise. This came after enterprising members of the Dungeons & Dragons community noticed that a large number of pieces in the upcoming Big Bees Presents The Glory of Giants sourcebook for 5e D&D has AI-generated art that looks like shit.
Yeah, there's a giant that's got just hands in the wrong place, weird stuff, and apparently nobody knew that this was happening. The illustrator in question, I don't know, thought this was a good idea. It's very strange stuff.
Yeah, so I mean the company line that is in the press, right, is in this article and many others, is that, okay, well, hey, everyone, obviously this book is coming out like right now as we're recording, which is August 2023, which means all the art was like ordered a year ago. A year ago, no one knew what AI art was, and I'm like, I think people who are into art knew that, right?
Yeah.
I think people were aware of it as of at least 2 years ago, and especially if you were, let's say, an art director for a game, or the person who works in D&D's 7-person art department. I think you would know about it.
You would think.
So they claim, okay, they didn't notice it, which, again, I don't know how you can look at any of these pictures, even if you didn't know about AI art, and say, wow, this looks weird and off-putting. Why is this giant's head so small? Why none of the textures make sense? Why is this foot missing, right? You would at least say this looks bad. My take is that I'm just guessing here. I do not know. But if I had to guess, I would say, they probably noticed it and they were like, well, there's nothing we can do about it now. We need this art. Let's see if the community makes a big stink out of it.
Once again, this is a little strange because Wizards is not a terribly scrupulous company, so I don't see them taking a stand on AI artwork out of principle. So my feeling is that there were legal or financial or just PR reasons that they were like, we don't want to deal with this. But I would be shocked if this is the last we're hearing of AI art in Wizards published material.
Right.
Because they love not paying people. It's one of their favorite things in the world. They love to not pay artists and writers. And so if they can get away with that, I promise you they will.
I'm sure someone at the C-suite level at Hasbro is just like, well, what if we bought this D&D Beyond thing for $150 million. What if we can just have it like when you enter the search bar, like the whatever prompt or, monster or guy you pull up, it just automatically generates the art for you. And we don't have to pay for art because, we got to pay an artist to draw every monster in the monster manual. That seems like too much, right?
That's too much money.
I don't know. It really is a crappy thing to see. Like, you don't. I'm sure there have been some like minorly successful indie games that have published with AI art, but almost every indie game I've seen has taken a stance like, oh, we are not using AI art. We are paying artists. And to see the person, the company who has the majority of the market share just put out something with AI art that, one, looks crappy, two, like morally is stealing from other artists to make this drawing even happen, three, like it's just financially stupid, right? You can't copyright it. It's just very sad to see.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
what else we got, Matt?
Well, once again, we see a divergence between WotC and Paizo strategies. WotC is pursuing their $1 billion D&D unlimited D&D online tabletop experience. Paizo has confirmed that it will not be making its own virtual tabletop at any time in the near future. People who play Paizo games know that the Foundry virtual tabletop has great support for most Paizo adventure modules and rules and rulebook. There's a huge team of like dedicated, basically volunteers, I think, who code every new feat and things into the Foundry rules, and it also works pretty well on Roll20 too. So yeah, they're saying we're not interested in doing a 3D thing.
I mean, this is, again, Paizo's not a perfect company, but the one thing that they consistently do is make more reasonable business decisions, and not like the thing is, the article mentions,
I mean, they've learned their lesson, right? It wasn't always this case, right, Rob?
That's right. But like, they've already got a partnership with Demiplane, which is a cool VTT. Pathfinder runs really well on Foundry, which is another good VTT. It works just fine on Roll20. There's literally no reason to reinvent the wheel here, right? Like, Paizo does not need to spend resources on creating their own virtual tabletop when there are several options that work pretty well. Again, I don't run games online much anymore, but if I did, there are lots of cool options. There are already virtual tabletops that work pretty well, and I also I strongly believe that the market for VTTs is not as big as Wizards believes that it is. I also want to continue to say that I kind of don't think that Wizards' tabletop is ever going to exist. I would say that there's the 30 to 50% chance that it will somehow be strangled in the cradle by either just a failure of management or some kind of executive shakeup or just general nonsense over at Wizards. I am skeptical until I can put my grubby little mitts on it. So
yeah,
this is smart from Paizo.
The only thing that existing virtual tabletops, I think, do not do well at the current moment is high-level integration of voice and video chat, which is, of course, very, very complicated, even for companies that do nothing else, right? All of us have had Zoom problems and Discord problems. So, that's pretty understandable, and I don't think a Wizards run one is going to be any better. But the other thing they don't do well is, they're not 3D, right? They're not they don't look like a video game or a movie, right? They look like a map, right? With tokens on it. They're not three-dimensional. The problem is when you go from slapping a JPEG that you found after a quick Google search onto your grid for your players and moving their tokens that they have to something that requires a 3D model for everything. It's just so much more complicated, and I don't think it can ever work. It's funny. I don't think Paizo's a better company than WotC.
I do. The bar is really low, Matt. It doesn't take much for me to say that it's a better company.
They're a union company, so I guess that makes them better. But they're not better in that. I mean, they're smarter, but they have learned from their past mistakes. Apparently, no one at WotC
of learning. Which
right.
WotC is not, I don't think.
Yeah, WotC tried this with 4E, and it failed.
Yeah.
Paizo tried something pretty similar with, a Pathfinder online, right? And there would be these interactions between the tabletop and online, and they would have this great wow killer game that would fully introduce everyone, and it failed. And they said, you know what, the digital thing is not a thing our company can do well. We can write books, and we can commission great art, and we can edit adventures, and we can play test rules, and we're good at that. We're going to stick to that. So yeah, okay. Take back everything I said. Maybe they are a better company. They're union made, and they've learned from their mistakes.
Far be it for me to praise any corporation, but which I'm not. But it's not praise to say that it's safe to say that Paizo is better objectively. Of course, if your metric for success is revenue or profitability, then obviously Paizo is not better than Wizards of the Coast. But I don't know if that's what you believe, then you probably aren't listening to this podcast. So in ways that matter in terms of making products that are good and not doing stupid, embarrassing things, Paizo is a better company than Wizards.
Speaking of Wizards, so they like, despite all of their mistakes, their two main things continue to rake in tons of money. Next year, D&D is going to be 40 years old. Magic will also be 30 years old. And Magic has figured out that if you put Gandalf on a card, or coming soon to a neighborhood to you, Dr. Alan Grant, or the Tyrannosaurus Rex from Jurassic Park, or the Doctor Who from Doctor Who, you will make a lot of money. And they're going to continue to put these other things. They're also coming up with new settings. There's one set in like a fantasy Wild West, and I'm just like, I often ask myself, I'm like, I don't know, like, if D&D is on a different floor in the headquarter building than WotC, but it's just like, you could use this, like, the same people you hire to come up with campaign settings and art, and if you just did it with D&D, I feel like you would make money too. Like, why didn't you make a D&D Wild West setting? Why is it just Magic?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I think all of these crossovers are pathetic. And I think the people who buy them are pathetic. And I apologize if any of our listeners are among those people. And I try not to judge too harshly. I try not to, I let people enjoy things. I think this is just a disgusting cash grab tie-in, and it depresses me immensely. I hate to see it. Jurassic Park Magic cards, like, have some self-respect.
Well, Rob, like, I bought one pack of the Lord of the Rings one because I wanted to get the One Ring and sell it to Post Malone. He's our modern-day Golem.
I did not do that, but I at least understand I can see you spending a little bit of money to see if you get the pack with the One Ring in it. Fine. But that's just because I'm a massive Lord of the Rings nerd. Again, if you're buying something with Doctor Who on it or Jurassic Park Magic cards, I just take a look at your
Jurassic
life.
Park doesn't have magic. I mean, it is based in science, right? I mean, it's not like you can't get DNA from a mosquito trapped in fossilized amber, right? That's
not yet, Matt. But yes,
so I guess it's magic.
There's nothing magical about. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm going to get upset. I don't want to talk about Magic the Gathering.
All right.
I know a lot of people are fans. This is just gross. They think you're stupid. They think that you're little. They think your little gremlins will eat anything you put in front of you, and you have to show them that you have the self-control. You have to show them that you won't buy their garbage. Don't eat it.
I'll still keep buying that garbage. Rob, so Wizards can't, for example, have again their continued like most profitable year ever. With and just having all these successes, of course, without shooting themselves in the foot with this AI thing and the obviously failing virtual tabletop thing. But again, they keep succeeding despite themselves. Whenever there's bad news, there's equally good news, because Baldur's Gate 3 is a massive success. It sold a lot a lot of copies. A lot of people are playing it on Steam. It will not load on my Game Boy Advanced, which is what I use to record this podcast. But people with fancy computers are playing it to the tune of like nearly a million concurrent
players. Yeah,
which is a lot.
Third most popular game for a hot minute on Steam. I have played it. I have restart-itis, so I have not made it very far. I have not yet beat Act 1. I like it very much. We will probably talk more about it later because that's a whole other conversation. But
yeah, we need to wait for people to like finish the goddamn game and stuff.
To Matt's point, though, it also received the highest score that PC Gamer has given a game in almost 20 years, like 97 or 98. Like the highest score since Half-Life 2.
Wow.
It's a very good game. It's by Larian Studios, which made Divinity Original Sin and Original Sin 2. I didn't play those. I don't know why. I don't have a good reason. They're good games. But it's really good. It's a masterpiece. And when we talk about it, we'll talk about my feelings on it because I'm a massive fan of the original Baldur's Gate. But what's wild about this, and this is also the year in which Paramount released a genuinely really good, like objectively, both fans and critics loved Dungeons and Dragons Honor Amongst Thieves. Somehow, despite their own incompetence, Wizards has managed to, I would say, allow other people to create really tremendous things in their sort of like intellectual property domain. And it's funny because Wizards, by their own accounting, had nothing to do with either of these projects. As far as I can tell, they maybe sent a consultant and signed off on a few things, but
I wonder what that consultant's name was. We'll never know. Don't think about it too much.
But don't ask. Don't look at who from Wizards consulted on Baldur's Gate 3. Just don't do yourself a favor. Don't ask. But like the point is that to the extent that Wizards is ever able to create something good, it's when they keep their hands just out of it and let other creative people do interesting things. And I think it's so funny, like Matt said, this year has been just a clown show for Wizards and Hasbro. Just one terrible decision after another, just constantly tripping over their dicks.
Stepping on rakes.
Completely avoidable mistakes. And yet, it's going to be a really great year for them because of a great movie and a really, really like uncommonly popular video game. I do sort of like despair for all of the DMs and new players who are going to like pick up this game and like expect to be able to do things like they do in Baldur's Gate 3 or try to replicate what happened in Honor Amongst Thieves and be like, well, this system doesn't work at all. This isn't at all how I thought things were going to happen in the game I was playing. I especially weep for the dungeon masters who are going to have to deal with players who have reasonable expectations that are not manageable in 5th edition.
Well, Rob, I mean, it's happened before. It'll happen again. This is not the first time that DMs and players have all been like, oh, hey, I played this fun game, Diablo 2, or World of Warcraft, or Baldur's Gate 2. Or I watched this movie. It's called Lord of the Rings. Or, Dragonheart. Why don't we play Dungeons and Dragons?
Things were particularly...
Again, it's like poetry, so they rhyme.
Things were particularly bad after World of Warcraft reached its peak. I remember in lots of games, people would be like, well, why can't I take? Like, how do I hold aggro? And I'm like, it doesn't work like that. But, so this is not the first time we've had to deal with it, but it is a whole thing.
Well, we did the game was successful. Lots of people are having fun. Lots of people are learning, hey, tabletop role-playing games. Maybe I could do that. What if I had a party of, instead of digital friends, real friends? We are getting, besides all that, we are getting what I love, which is interesting data.
Yes, there is much data.
So Larian published a chart of everyone's class and race choices for starting characters, which I think is more, in a way, I feel, Rob, more valid than those charts we ever get from like D&D Beyond, because people are just making characters and stuff like that. I guess they do that some in Baldur's Gate, but I mean, if you make a character, you're probably going to play
this data.
it.
I think is a lot more actionable, I guess, than D&D Beyond data, which it includes just a bunch of people's characters that they've made for fun.
So let's talk about classes first. Wildly most popular class, double the sort of median class, is the Paladin, followed by the Sorcerer and Warlock as outliers. And then the other classes are fairly similar in descending order: Rogue, Bard, Barbarian, Fighter, Ranger, Wizard, Monk, Druid, and another outlier on the low end of the range, half of the median number of class, is the Cleric. No one likes the Cleric. So Paladin most popular, Cleric least popular.
I have a theory about this, and I don't think it's a particularly complicated one. You'll notice, Matt, did you notice anything that the top 3 classes have in common?
They have a lot of charisma.
They have a lot of charisma. That's exactly right. I think
Bard is up there too. So is Rogue. Yeah.
So in the top 5 classes are all of the charisma-based casters, charisma-based classes, and I think this is pretty straightforward. There are a lot of persuasion and deception and intimidation checks, and it's funny and cool when you pass them. And so people are going to want to have charisma so that they can pass their checks.
I haven't played the game yet, but if your charisma is higher, will the hot tiefling, the hot vampire guy,
everybody wants
will
to
they
sleep
like
with
you?
Regardless of
okay,
your charisma,
so you don't have to have a hot charisma. You can
but there are a lot of, again, there's a lot of very funny dialogue and a lot of very good dialogue and a lot of opportunities to talk your way out of situations. So it doesn't surprise me at all. I'll tell you the other thing, Matt, is that of the available companions, none of them are paladins or sorcerers. So I think that inherently people are going to pick something that you aren't immediately given. 2 of the initial companions, one's a fighter, one's a... I think the reason the cleric is so low is because you get a total babe, evil, waifu to hang out with, who's a cleric, and people are probably going to have her in their party. So that's my guess as to why people are picking these classes. Race choices are interesting too. Not surprising, I don't think, but interesting. The top 3,
the number one race by a little bit is half elf, with human and elf in a close second. Dragonborn is a little farther behind. Tiefling and Drow are near the middle. And then there's a huge drop off for our short races and really tall races. So half orc, dwarf, gnome, halfling, and Githyanki are our least popular race.
Yeah, so this is interesting. Well, Larian made some changes to half-elves and humans to make up for the fact that basically the game uses Tasha's rules. Everybody gets a floating +2, +1 to your stats, regardless of what your race is. It's not based on a racial, it's just whatever, which is good. I like that. But that means that humans and half-elves are a little less powerful. So half-elves and humans got some proficiencies and skills to make them a little bit more appealing. And in the context of the game, well, this is also in the tabletop, but half-elves have more movement, which turns out really useful in tactical combat. I am currently playing as a big, beefy himbo half-elf, because I like having the extra movement, and also I like being a beefcake elf. It amuses me. You can have like a big swole elf. I think it's great. And though I am a little disappointed that the shorty races are so underrepresented. They're just, nobody loves them.
Yeah, it's funny. I think dwarves and gnomes and like other online role-playing games I've played, have always been very popular. Maybe it's just because of the sexiness of Baldur's Gate. People are like, well, what if my halfling's too short? Did you not see the movie? Did you not see Bradley Cooper?
Did you not see Bradley Cooper?
It doesn't matter.
I mean, the halflings and the gnomes and dwarves, everybody's sexy in Baldur's Gate 3. Larian made everybody look real attractive. Actually, the first two characters that I created were a Githyanki and a half-orc, and I ended up not playing because their faces are not as implemented as well as the taller, prettier ones. I just got really tired of looking at the stupid Githyanki face. I couldn't find a half-orc face that didn't look like he was making a stupid expression, and if I didn't have to look at him in cutscenes so often, I would have stuck with the half-orc, but I was like, I can't keep looking at him making weird expressions with those tusks. It's too distracting. That's
Half-elf being the most popular, species race selection for players, just reminds me like, oh man, so are half-elves really going to be cut out of one D&D? It seems like a lot of the changes are, this is our next topic, are being rolled back in that we are really getting very little different in 5e. We talked about this last time we had Alex on, but cutting out the most popular race, interesting choice, Wizards. Let's see how that pays off for them. I think I have a theory about why Paladin is the most popular choice, Rob.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, it hits everything a little bit. In that,
yes,
it has a clear identity. People know what it is. You can fight really well, but you also get magic. People don't want to forego having magic powers, and probably new people don't know. Oh, you can also be an arcane trickster or an eldritch knight or whatever. And like you said, it has charisma, spellcasting, charisma, fighting. Paladin has it all.
It's worth mentioning that even with the changes, Smite is insanely powerful. This is speaking of Alex Clippinger, one of his bugaboos, but it is just bonkers how powerful Smite is, and so it is no surprise to me that people want to play a clearly defined charisma-based caster that can dish out insane damage. I got something wrong. Sorry, I'm a dummy. I'm not playing a half-elf. I'm playing a wood elf, and wood elf is the one with the extra movement. Half-elf.
Right.
I'm not sure.
I was surprised they gave half-elves extra movement, but I haven't played, so I don't want to disagree with you.
I'm not sure what the deal is with half-elves. I guess they have those proficiencies, and I think that they can pick some elements of either high elf or half-elf.
Rob, I think people just like half-elves. They like the idea of being a little special, and a little
pointy
normal,
ears, but not too
and
pointy.
then exactly. There's a lot of nostalgia for technically you can say Elrond is a half-elf, Aragorn is a half-elf, Arvin is a half-elf. You can say these people are all half-elves, right? Yeah, and of course we got Tanith half-elven.
Lots of great half-elves in the lore. But yeah, it would be weird. Like, look, you might want to call them something else, but to eliminate half-elves entirely, I mean, that's a weird choice. I don't think they're going to go through with it. I don't think they're going to end up making that change. But yeah, as we discussed, they're kind of unclear what changes they are making, if any.
Right. Yeah, it seems like I don't know. It seems like they needed more people and more time. The latest interviews and panels at Gen Con, which of course we were at. Of course we did spend a lot of the time in the back, but we came out front. Said okay, well we're sticking with some things that got over a 70% community feedback score. Weapon mastery, it's definitely going in, but it surprised me that there were not more serious rebuilds. of some of the classes. You know, I think obviously a lot of people, like, at least from my perspective, right? The big problem with D&D 5e isn't quite all the classes. It's with some of the core mechanics, but also some of the dungeon master tools. And if those were better, I would be more happy with it. And we haven't seen any of that. We're not getting the first one, but we haven't seen any of the second. So who knows?
I did read something that said that the DM's guide is being completely redone. It was just an article saying that it's much more robust than the one that we currently have. I don't know if that actually means it'll be good, because the one that we have is pretty not great. So even a little improvement would be something. But
if we could get as good as maybe the 4E one, I would be. I think that would be an improvement. But who knows? Who knows what will happen? But yeah, we're basically firmly saying that we can think of this more as a fancy rules errata, and a compilation of changes that have been made before, and new art for every subclass. Hopefully, it won't be AI art, but
as it stands, this is more like a 5.25 than even. Or I don't know, like 5.1. Like, it's a patch. It's not like a whole new or even half a new edition. So
let's get that going in the chat. Let's get calling it 5.1 instead of 5.5 going. Let's see. I think that could take off. That's got legs, Rob.
That's got legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
You heard
it seems like there will
folks.
be, as many people have pointed out online, it seems like there are more rule changes in Baldur's Gate 3's implementation of 5e than in the current 1D&D playtest setup, which is disappointing. Obviously, video games have very, very, very different needs than a tabletop role-playing game. But people point out they fixed some stuff that people like, making a jump a bonus action.
There will be a longer. Again, we'll talk about this more, but like, it's very interesting to see. Again, the Baldur's Gate 3 is a video game, and so it has to pay a lot of attention to the tactical combat part of D&D, and it's interesting to see what changes that they made to the core rule set so that tactical combat is better and more interesting, right? So you have fewer dead actions and fewer dead turns. So there's more useful bonus actions, there's more conditions, there's more things that everybody can do with their weapons. There's just sort of inherently height and elevation and terrain are a lot more important, which is really cool. And some of these things you could absolutely steal for your games and modify within the existing rules. But it is interesting. I immediately was able to sort of like highlight where 5th edition falls short by just noticing the changes to the rule set. And that was a very enlightening thing to see as I was starting to pick up the game and figure it out.
Yeah. So next to last but not least on our news roundup, Rob, a book we have reviewed on this podcast before, the Tal'Dorei campaign setting. Originally, it was published by someone else, but now it's published by Darrington Press. Is for sale on WotC-owned D&D Beyond.
Yes, this is interesting.
It's the first. I mean, so I think you can buy like maybe one third-party class, but this is the first third-party source book you can actually buy in the WotC walled garden.
Yes, this is a departure, and it's interesting. Yeah, because I think you can buy the Blood Hunter. I think there is a through line, which is, and I think you can buy some like Acquisitions Incorporated and
that's right. Sorry,
like Rick and Morty stuff, but that's not really the same.
Those were physical books too.
Yeah,
unlike the Blood Hunter, so I didn't really count them. Like, they're books, they're real, they came out. I mean, this is a physical book too,
but this is different.
This came out many years ago.
This is a campaign setting And it is new and unique that a third-party campaign setting is being published on D&D Beyond. I would be curious to see if there are more. I can't imagine what else would be what Wizards or D&D Beyond would consider worth publishing, but I'm curious. This is also an interesting timing, Matt, because Critical Role has just sort of started to launch their
own system. Right. Candela Obscura. And
this is also Darrington Press is the Critical
It's their
Role
publishing company.
So they've started to publish Candela Obscura and something else. What's it called?
They publish several board games and some other things.
They're working on, I think, a couple of different systems.
There's supposedly a more traditional fantasy system in the works.
I was trying to remember the name of it. I'm not sure it has a name yet, or if it does, I don't remember what it's called.
I do not think it has a name yet, Rob.
But they've got Candela Obscura, they've got this new upcoming fantasy system, and they have a number of other things. So it's curious and interesting that as they are making these announcements, D&D Beyond re-releases or releases the Tal'Dorei campaign setting. I don't know that there's anything to that. I just think the timing is curious.
It's apparently very popular. People are buying it. And this brings me to our last point, which is people buy things, at least from my perspective. When people say there are no money in tabletop role-playing games, I'm beginning to think, actually, I do think they're wrong. Rob, would you like to guess how many Kickstarters that are specifically tabletop role-playing games have brought in more than $1 million? How many Kickstarters have made more than $1 million that are tabletop role-playing game Kickstarters?
Boy, before you asked that question, I would have said that I could count it on the fingers of one hand and have fingers left over. But now that you said it like that, I think I might be wrong.
Okay. Well, so your original guess was low, like 4 or 3.
Tops, yes.
What's your guess now that your Bayesian whatever priors have been
sense is triggered? I don't know, half a dozen.
You're still below half the correct number. There have been 28 Kickstarters.
No kidding, just for TTRPGs?
Just for tabletop role-playing games. And this is thanks to some dedicated folks and posters over at Ian World. But there are 2 that are going on as we're recording right now. It's August 2023. But yeah, there have been 28 that have raked in more than $1 million, including some that have not, sold dice bags or custom cards or minis or something. That's just the book, right?
28. From
Avatar Legends, which of course we reviewed on the show at the top with $9.5 million to right now, 2 Kickstarters. Dolemwood tabletop RPG has broken $1 million, and so is Obojima.
Oh fuck, Obojima's that
from
Studio
the Tall
Ghibli
Grass.
D&D. Sorry, I should really not say this. I hate it. I don't like it. It upsets me and it makes me angry.
Rob gets
I'm mad.
Oh, you get mad at Studio Ghibli?
I get mad at fake Studio Ghibli. I get mad at people trying to cash in on, like, here's
making
a sheep dragon.
5e. It's a 5e book. So
I hate it. It makes me so mad.
So
Studio Ghibli is not about fighting stuff.
Right.
There is fighting in Studio Ghibli, but it's not about killing sheep dragons. It's, I don't know.
Well, they're from Portland, Oregon, so be careful,
I know they are.
Rob.
I know, that's why I'm mad.
Don't run into them. So, I mean, this is the thing that people who make role-playing games figure out about every 2 or 3 years, is when they actually talk to people and they're like, what's a system that, like, gets popular enough that everyone knows how to play it and wants to do it, that people want. And people want, like, some type of anime-inspired system that's very popular. eventually people figure out there are a lot of those, and there are a lot of systems that might work for that, but they try and make one that ports over a version of D&D, and usually that's a very bad idea, because D&D and Studio Ghibli, or really most anime shows that I've seen, don't fit with the aesthetic or the mechanics of something based in D20 pass-fail rolls.
Yeah.
But it made $1 million and change already. Still going. We're only about halfway through it.
I've been getting a ton. Part of why I'm so annoyed by it is I've been getting a ton of Instagram ads for, and I'm just like, stop showing me this. I don't want that.
This reminds me of another, and I think it will fail, but I am curious to see if it will succeed. Is a couple months ago there was a Kickstarter for a new type of tabletop role-playing game. This one was called Fablecraft. And the basic idea was like, it's a virtual tabletop plus its own system, plus everything you need will be in the virtual tabletop, but not like in a way that like you just buy a module on Roll20 or Foundry VTT. It'll be like, oh, this is like immersive. There's like sound effects and action, and like a thing reads a flavor text, so much so that you're buying the tabletop role-playing game on Steam. Now, to me, this sounds awful, and this is not the reason I play tabletop role-playing games. I don't play them to click a thing on my computer and have it read to my players what's happening, or to have like a flash animation in the background where they can click a thing and it opens up. To me, that seems bad. But other people might like it. So, and maybe it will evolve. Who knows? This one did not make $1 million, which to me seems to be the Kickstarter that needs to make $1 million, where you actually have to have programmers and stuff like that. But we'll see.
Yeah. Maybe we should go through all 28 of those for a future episode, or at least the ones that we haven't talked about yet.
Kind of be like, where are they now?
That would be fun, actually.
Rob, would you like to guess, of those 28, how many are D&D 5e supplements or modifications of the D&D 5e system for something else?
23.
Oh, this time you overshot it. 17 out of 28.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
you know, maybe not the numbers we would like to see, but at least 10 of them have their own system.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay, Rob, that has been our tales from the news. You know, you stay classy, Portland, Oregon, all that good stuff. Another Anchorman joke that I can't think of right now. But thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for listening. As always, if you've got questions for us or thoughts or something you want us to discuss, you can write us at dmofnone@gmail.com. You can, for now, add us on the platform formerly known as Twitter, at dmofnone. You can also find us on our Patreon at patreon.com/dungeonmasterofnone, or you can join our Discord. There's a link to that in the show notes. Come hang out with other dungeon masters and enthusiasts and shoot the shit and ask us questions, and it's a good time.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
There we go. That's the other joke. All right, thanks for listening, everybody. And whatever you do, keep rolling them dice.